Hello everyone. In the last video, we have seen the basics of literary theory and we have entered that video by telling that we will see the wave theories in next video. So if you haven't watched that video, you can go and watch that video and then you can come and watch this video. The link for that video is given in the description box. You can go and make use of it. So come let's see what is literary wave theories. Usually, there are three wave theories. That is, the first wave is the agrarian revolution. The second wave is the industrial revolution. The third wave is the information revolution. Just by seeing the name itself, you can come to a conclusion what type of revolution it will be. So, the agrarian revolution is focused on agriculture. The industrial revolution is focused on industries. The information revolution is focused on technology. So we will see each wave theory in detail. The first wave, the agrarian revolution. During the time of agrarian revolution, the life of the people is village centered and it is family centered and community centered. That is, they will focus only on their family and their relatives. They don't know much people, they don't have contact with more people, so their life is family and community oriented. And then family interacted with each other to meet the needs within the community. This is, if you have some amount of rice, but will that rice be alone to consume and to gain energy? No. You need some other things like you need some vegetables, pulses like that in order to cook food for your family. So for that, if you give some amount of rice to another family which possesses some amount of vegetables or pulses, then they will get that rice and they will give pulses or vegetables in return. So both families will be benefited. That is what happened in our ancient days. More as we all already know that. And then this is what happened. Then skills were handed from generation to generation. See, if we will take a father and a son, what this father will do, the father will take his son to his agricultural field, and then if he is a little boy, then he will teach only the simple chores, like how to switch on the motor, like that and all he will teach if he is a little boy. Then if he grows a little, then he will teach some other um, hard works. Then if he reaches the age of 20 or so, then he will teach the hard work. So the skills were handed from generation to generation. The present generation will teach the skills what they have learned from their ancestors to the next generation. Life is rural and more settled. Um, their main work is agriculture. So they need not to travel from one place to another. So their life is village centered. So the life is more rural. Only now we are moving towards technologies. So the life during that time was rural. And then feudalism. We all know that in our ancient days we have lots and lots of superstitious beliefs. We immersed in superstitious beliefs, feudalism, sati and all. Even now, in many remote areas, many superstitious beliefs are being practiced, like child marriage, sati, feudalism, like that. We have still now. Imagination and perception was based on local experience. Since they don't migrate from one place to another, they are not much aware of the outer world. They don't have any knowledge how people of other villages will be, how people of different countries will be. Now we have the opportunity to travel, but in our ancient days, they don't have. So the perception will be what the experience they are gaining out of their village people. That is what they will consider and that is what they will apply in their life. Okay. Next, we will see the second wave, that is the industrial revolution. For many centuries, the agriculture played a pivotal role, but Will agriculture alone be enough? No, we need something else. So the instead of agricultural revolution, sorry, in addition to agricultural agrarian revolution, industrial revolution has started. Industrial revolution is the resultant of urbanization, capitalism, and consumerism. And then life is urban and migrative. So in order to work in many factories and industries, people need to migrate from one place to another. So the life of the people changed from rural to urban areas, so they started to develop to some extent. And then more repetitive and more mechanical. Human beings were trained to work like machines. They do the works again and again. They do the same repetitive works again and again. They need to operate machines, so they are become more mechanical. Individuals were trained in factories and workshops. They were given trainings in factories and workshops in order to work and in order to survive. That institution is known as office or workshop. And then men and materials constituted the capital. So the rich class people will have material, that is raw materials with them, but they need some working class people in order to convert that raw material to a manufactured products. So here, during the time of industrial revolution, men and materials constituted the capital. uh, to understand this industrial revolution in a more clear way, you can see Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times. In that, the industrial revolution is beautifully portrayed by the director. So you can clearly understand what industrial revolution is and how people were during that time. Okay, if you haven't watched that film, please go watch the film and then you can understand. Perceptions based on regional experience and universalized. Since they migrate from one place to another, they become little aware of the outer world. So along with gaining local experience, they gain regional experience. That is, they come to know how people of neighboring villages is neighboring villages are. So they gain regional experience. And then wielded power imposed their ideas on others. As we all know that people who are higher in power, they will impose their ideas on the people those who are less in power. So here the rich class people will impose their ideas on the working class people. Then Eurocentric concept is what which will explain this concept. That is, most of the time we follow only European countries ideas. So European countries impose their ideas on other countries who are less in power. Okay. And then industrial revolution has created a great impact. Even there are areas where industrial revolution hasn't taken place. In that areas too, industrial revolution is accepted. So see the power of industrial revolution. Then we will move on to the last wave theory, the third wave, the information revolution or the microchip revolution. This revolution is more relevant to our present generation. Okay, so shifted repetitive tasks to machines. In the industrial revolution, human beings were trained to operate machines and to work like machines. But in the information revolution, the machines replaced human beings. All the works which was done by humans are being done by robots and computers. So we face unemployment. It is the negative form of information revolution. This is because of unemployment. Every country is listing out lots and lots of crimes. Okay, unemployment plays a major resultant for the increasing number in crimes. And then knowledge and concepts became the capital. As human beings don't have any work to do, they use their knowledge and they use their creative thinking. But it is wrong, and it is totally wrong according to my point of view, because um, the generation people are focused and they spend time only in the gadgets. So their knowledge is confined within four walls. They are not using their creativity and they are not even ready to think. See, we are in the COVID situation. everything was going in online. Even we are conducting classes and we are attending classes only in online mode. But are we using the online classes properly? Definitely no. The teachers are taking classes for the students and they are paid for that. So they are get benefited. But what about students? They are paying fee in order to learn. But are they utilizing the fee properly? No, definitely no. They are facing lots and lots of distractions. They are not ready. They are not even ready to think on their own. They need everything as a already prepared one. Okay. If a question is asked, definitely they will go immediately. They will go and surf on the internet and they will get answer and they will vomit it to the staff. Only few students will do even that. Few students will not even hear what the teacher is coming to say. So because of the information revolution, people are not using their knowledge. Their knowledge is confined within four walls. Even their knowledge is deteriorating. At no point their knowledge is increasing. Only very rare people are increasing their knowledge in this generation. And then men and women get equal opportunities. Yeah, as everything is increasing, the price rate is increasing. Both family member, that is both men and women, need to go for their job in order to take care of their family. So they need to go for their office, so they will share their work, they will share the household works. So both men and women are getting equal opportunities. This is one of the benefits which we will gain out of information revolution. And then life and perceptions become global. We can communicate with the person who is far away from us. So we can do anything by sitting in the same place. So life and perceptions become global. 80% of all websites use English. We all know that English is an international language. We have already seen in English language teaching, right? So 80% of websites are using English. But when we take the census in worldwide, only 10% of people are speaking that language. Think about that. Then we all know that USA is more technologized. So it has more number of computers than the rest of the countries in the world combined. These waves haven't radically changed. We cannot say that suddenly this wave has arisen. No, it takes lots of years to come, and it will not vanish immediately once a new wave arises. See, agrarian revolution started. Once the industrial revolution has started, agrarian revolution hasn't finished. It is also there. Agrarian revolution is also there. At the same time, industrial revolution is also there. Okay, if one wave has come, the another wave, the former wave, will not end. It will also be there in some places. And then even we are living in the information revolution period. Sometimes our certain areas will be of agrarian. We will think like the people who lived during the time of agrarian revolution or industrial revolution. Sometimes individuals can be classical in certain areas. Sometimes we will be like industrial revolution people. Sometimes we will be shades of all the combination of three waves. Then living thing changes. We all know that the concept of discussion, the topic for this discussion is changing worlds and changing words. Everything will change. The world will change and the word also will change. See, before 2 years, how our world was. It was totally different. Think now how our world is. It is totally different. So every day the world keeps changing and the word too keeps changing. The only thing which doesn't change is dead. The word change, we can use this word change as both transitively and intransitively. If you're familiar with if you're well versed in grammar, you can be aware of what is transitive and intransitive. If you're not aware of that, please go google it and you learn what transitive and intransitive is. Then only you can learn this concept and learn this text properly. World and word, this is dynamic or not static. This world and world will change. It is not a fixed one. Static means fixed. It is not a fixed one. It is dynamic. It is changeable. Every day it will change. Literature. We all know that literature is an reflection or imitation of life. Whatever we see, whatever we hear in our life will be reflected, will be seen in literature. This is what literature is. Literature is imitation of life. So Oscar Wilde has given a simple definition for what is literature. It is an escape from personality or reality. That is, if a situation is going on in our real life but we are not happy with that situation, then what can we do? We can imagine our situation. We can imagine we can imagine on our own, and then we can express that imaginative situation through in literature. So it is an escape from personality or reality. If we don't like a particular thing in our reality, then we can switch on to imagination. Notions about life change and ideas about literature to change. Every day our life will change. Our because if we are facing a sad situation, we will feel that our life is a boring, our life is full of sorrows, I don't want this life. Like that we will think. But if you are in a happy mood, what will think? No, I'm living a happy life, I want to maintain this forever. Like that we will think. So our point of view regarding life will change every day, every moment. So like that, literature ideas to change, literature too will change. As literature is changing every day, definitely we know that literature and criticism are interconnected. So criticism also will change. So we are not talking about the literature with a capital L. Literature has the capital L. We are not talking about that literature alone, but we are talking about various literature. It is a literature is a whole, but inside it we have lots of categories. Like we have Irish literature, Russian literature, Spanish literature, myth literature. Like that we have here. We are talking about imaginative literature. Imaginative literature is one aspect of literature. It is just only one aspect, and we cannot equalize that imaginative literature with any other literature. So this is what we see. So we will see the next part of this literary theory session in the next video. Thank you.